Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Parisa if you're new here, and today's video is all about 5 different flower types beginning with the letter K, part of the A to Z flower series I've been making videos on over the past few months. I've also made other flower facts videos, so check those out too if you like this video. Follow me on social media. On Instagram I'm called Parisa Flowers, and on Depop I'm called Parisa Chloe. And without further ado, let's get started with this video. The first flower that I'm going to be talking about beginning with the letter K is Kalanchoe Kalanchoe, which means wealth, endurance and lasting affection. And the colours that it comes in is red, orange, green, yellow, white, pink, lilac, salmon and bicoloured varieties. It blooms all year. If it's planted in winter, then it will bloom from late winter to spring. Some interesting facts about Kalanchoe Kalanchoe is it is important for the Chinese New Year celebrations because it is said to bring prosperity and wealth. Some types are poisonous to grazing animals as they contain toxins. When flowering is over, the plant can regrow by removing the heads, putting it in darkness for 12 hours, then putting it in full sunlight for 6 weeks. And for buds to develop, you need to ensure that feeding and watering is reduced in this time. Normal light conditions can be resumed once buds have formed, and it is a common house plant and is native to Africa. How do you grow Kalanchoe Kalanchoe? So you need to check the soil regularly, as you need to ensure that the top 2 inches of soil are not dry, as if it is, then you should water it. The soil type that Kalanchoe Kalanchoe needs is well aerated potting soil that is well drained. When should you plant Kalanchoe Kalanchoe? You should plant it in the spring. Once you purchase Kalanchoe Kalanchoe, it's usually in full bloom, and it creates a constant flower parade for weeks and months. If the plant will be indoors, it should bloom from late winter to late spring. The sunlight that it needs is full sun with a generally warm environment. The food that you should give it is Miracle Grow succulent plant food. The second flower beginning with the letter K that I'm going to be talking about is Kalmia Spoonwood. The meaning of this is perseverance or treachery. The colours that it comes in is lavender, pink, purple and white. As it is a North American native, it will typically grow late May to mid-June. Interesting facts about Kalmia Spoonwood is that it's part of 10 species in the Ericaceae family. As I mentioned, it is a North American native. It's popular for use in gardens as ornamental displays. They're bell-shaped flowers with leathery leaves. They look amazing complemented with rhododendrons and azaleas. They look great in woodlands, cottage gardens, naturalised areas, shrub borders, and you can propagate them by semi-ripe cutting. You should do this in the midsummer if you're going to do this. And they are found in United States rocky hills, and they are monoecious. Monoecious means that the plant has both male and female reproductive organs. The leaves of the Kalmia Spoonwood are used in medicine. The leaves are actually poisonous. If you get poisoned by this flower, then whiskey is said to be the best cure. It can also treat skin diseases using the powdered leaves. It's also said to be effective at treating syphilis, jaundice, neuralgia, fevers and inflammation. It can actually be used as a skin disease ointment. This is where you should put leaves in a hot oven in an earth vessel that are stewed. It is also an astringent, a sedative, used in diarrhea, hemorrhages, flux. If you get rheumatism, you should locally apply salve, which is made from the juice of the plant. How do you grow Kalmia Spoonwood? So you should ensure that you give it 5 centimeters of water per week, as they have a shallow root system, so you need to make sure that you water them more than if a flower had a deeper root system. The soil type that the Kalmia Spoonwood should have is acidic, moist, well-drained soils, typically with a pH of 4.5 to 5.5 is where optimal growth is seen. You should ensure that you plant it in spring. The sunlight that you should give it is partial. This is because if you grew the Kalmia Spoonwood in dull shade, it would produce less flowers, and in full sun, the leaves would scorch. You should ensure that you use acid-loving plant fertilizer and fertilize at least twice a year. And in general, it doesn't need much fertilizer, but if you want to enhance the growth, you should also apply a thin layer of compost to add organic matter to the soil. The third flower beginning with the letter K that I'm going to be talking about is the Kolkwitzia beauty bush. The meaning of this is beauty and grace. The colours that it comes in is white, yellow and pink. It blooms in mid-spring. Some interesting facts about this flower is that it's native to China. It is a deciduous shrub and part of a one-species genus called Kolkwitzia amabilis. Kolkwitzia is part of the honeysuckle family known as Kniphofia family. Cultivated for ornamental purpose, it is fountain-like deciduous shrub. They are perennials, and after flowering, you ensure that you deadhead them. In terms of medicine, I could not find any information about this. When I searched it, it just came out of completely unrelated things, and I'm not really sure why. To grow the Kolkwitzia beauty bush, ensure that during dry weather you water thoroughly. The soil type that it should have is well drained moist soil. You should plant it in late autumn to early spring during mild weather. and the sunlight that it should be exposed to is partial shade for optimum growth. You should give it general fertiliser suitable for shrubs and mulch with organic matter in spring. I just like to note that it does grow very well on old wood. Fourth flower beginning with the letter K that I'm going to be talking about is the Kniphofia Red Hot Pokers. The meaning of this is good fortune. The colours that it comes in is orange, red, yellow and mixed colours. It blooms from March to November. Some interesting facts about the Kniphofia Red Hot Pokers is that it's in the family Adorphodelaceae and in the genus consisting of 70 species. It has large grass-like dense leaf spikes and flowers are tubular in appearance. They are low maintenance. They produce lots of nectar when they have flowered, which attracts butterflies and bees. They look great in pots and the plants survive in hardiness zones of 5 to 10. They are natives to South Africa, where it's said to taste like honey as they eat it there. They look similar to hollyhocks in the way that they stand tall. They look good next to smaller flowers. South Africa, they use the fresh juice of the flower for cosmetic uses. For medicine, the Kniphofia Red Hot Pokers are used in folk medicine, used to treat specific chest disorders. For example, root infusion can treat bronchitis and asthma. The root is used as a cleanser for skin issues like spots, and they can even prepare the uterus for pregnancy. You could argue that this flower is limited in its medical uses compared to many other plants. How do you grow the Kniphofia Red Hot Pokers? You should ensure that you water them, giving at least 5 to 6 inches deep, allowing the soil to dry out between waterings, but in hot summers water the soil to an inch deep every week. The soil type that Kniphofia Red Hot Pokers should have is moist, well drained, and it can be neutral, acidic or alkaline. When should you plant it? You should plant it in autumn to spring. The sunlight that it should have is full sun for optimum growth. You should give it 2 to 3 inches of compost for its food. The last flower beginning with the letter K that I'm going to be talking about is the Kerria, also known as the Japanese Kerria or the Japanese rose. The meaning of this is prosperity and wealth. The colours that it comes in is just one colour. Some people say it's a bright yellow and other people say it's more of a golden yellow. The flower blooms from March to May and it grows sporadically in the summer. The Kerria is a low-maintenance flower, and the Kerria genus has one species called Kerria japonica in the rose family called Rosaceae. It is a deciduous shrub that has bright green leaves that will change to yellow colour in the autumn. A pleniflora, meaning it is a cultivar of double yellow flowers with simple leaves that grow to 4 metres when it has grown to its full height. It has suckers which causes it to spread quickly, which is useful for erosional control. Although if you would like the growth of this flower to be controlled, then you need to remove the suckers. The flower was given a prestigious award by the Royal Horticultural Society called the Garden Merit. The Kerria contains hydrogen cyanide in its leaves, which is said to improve digestion and can trigger respiration. It's shown that it can even benefit cancer. Grow Kerria. So ensure that you water it regularly, but make sure that the soil doesn't get too soggy because it won't be able to survive if the soil is overwatered. The type that the Kerria can grow in is sand, loam, clay, but not heavy clay, chalk, and the soil can be neutral, acidic or alkaline, and it must be well drained. When should you plant the Kerria? You should plant it in May, June, July or August, or even September. You should prune the plant in June and July and take cuttings in August, September and October if you're planning on doing that. The sunlight that the Kerria should have is partial sun, as too much sun can cause the flowers to bleach. The food that you should give the Kerria is slow release fertiliser in spring in light amounts. You can improve the soil drainage by using compost, which will also help the plant to grow better. By pruning the flower, that ensures that you're cutting away the superfluous parts, which will ensure that the flower will be able to grow the next year and will stop the growth of microorganisms that may be harmful to flowers nearby. Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn about other flower types, be sure to watch other videos from the A to Z flower series, which are all ordered. Please comment, like and subscribe.